Welcome, everyone. This is Fun Needles, and you're listening to LOTRO Players News, where we take a look at the latest news in LOTRO and here at LOTRO Players. And this week we have with us Arendus
Hey, everybody.
and Calavathian.
404, hosts not found.
Well, at least we found a couple of them.
Yes, we could not hide under our rocks for long. We had to crawl out and join and entertain people this evening.
Yep, episode 404 will go on, regardless of any errors that occur along the way.
Yes. It's not a big error. It's not the old blue screen of death. It's just a minor glitch that we can resolve very easily, probably with a restart. Because when in doubt, restart. Reboot.
Well,
just don't reboot the show because we don't want to start over. I guess we could. You want to start over again? Let's start over again.
See, if we had planned... Go ahead, finally.
Let's head into our game news. We have a few notes that were announced during the regular Friday live stream with Cordovan, where he announced that the curator is expected to arrive on April the 19th, I believe.
And I'm so excited.
I am excited too.
And we are expecting that later on in that week, I think about Thursday is when the scheduling will be the anniversary.
Oh, good.
Yes. Now, and the anniversary, of course, is going to be dependent most likely on the next update, which I think is going to be something like 29.5 or something like that, whatever the number is that they're expecting there. So we are expecting, of course, an update because that's going to include the anniversary in it. And it's also going to include the next part of the legendary server, where the legendary server will be heading out to fetch the Raiders of Rohan, the Battle of Pelennor Fields, our trip to the Wastes, Northern Ithilien, picking flowers, and all sorts of fun stuff like that.
Flowers come to Anor. Good luck.
Yeah, Ithil and Anor, the two legendary worlds, will be getting the update on there. Not likely that I'll be picking a lot of flowers in there, but I'm sure that there will be some people who will be following that time-honored tradition.
What, you don't like flowers?
Well, I don't.
You must be great at Valentine's.
Well, hey, different strokes for different folks and all that.
It's like, I think I'll get Pine some flowers for Valentine's Day. Oh, no, not Pine. Do I look like
pine
me? He says no.
He's pine leaf. He'd probably prefer pine needles. It goes with the aesthetic.
It's true. Yes, get him a pine tree and decorate it, and it's like Christmas 2, pine leaf boogaloo.
Oh man, 3 minutes in and we're off the rails. Good start, guys. We got this. This is gonna be great.
See what happens when you get 404 hours.
Yep.
Maybe we should restart. I'm kidding.
Oh yeah, it sounds like people are already winning hobby horses from the curator.
Yes,
exactly.
Hobby horse time, which you can now ride everywhere, including Minas Morgul. I guess I haven't actually been in Minas Morgul. I've just been in the instance, but still, you could ride it there. So
you want to
ride it out of that area. I don't see why you couldn't ride it in the area. Hobby horse.
Well, someone will have to go to Minas Morgul and test that.
It's a little above my rating right now. Otherwise, I totally would. I would just ride in and be like, "Sup, everyone!" Whack, whack, whack! Me and my mighty steed are here.
Now all I can think of is Monty Python with the guy standing behind with the coconuts making the horse sound,
yes,
or whatever that was. Exactly. That would be Morkindir or whoever riding into Minas Morgul with the coconuts.
Anyway, What I'm not
Morkandir
in
rides the hobby horse into Minas Morgul, and one of his strange companions is the one with the coconuts
There you
japping
go.
along. Yes, that
Right.
would be along the lines of his life at this point.
Yes.
That's the next episode or future episode.
Right. Anyway, what I'm not into is dailies
Mm,
for the gear grind at the top of the level or anything like that, especially when in a couple of months it's gonna all be obsolete anyway, so
yes. Imagine how we feel when we're not at level cap and we have to do the grind to get to level cap in order to then be useless. We're extra useless at that point.
Well, any case, we also then have a LOTRO Beacon issue 199. Next week we get issue 200, I presume.
Nice.
That's usually what happens when you have, numerically is 199, 200, unless they decide to skip it and go to like 342.
Well, that's
Yeah, but then
unlikely, but you occasionally have a week where Cordovan isn't able to create a beacon. So,
Well, if Cordovan's in charge of the beacon, he can put whatever number he wants to on it. It's like I think this week is you see last week was 199, this week is 981. 1 2 skip a few.
let's head into the community spotlight. Where
Sure, why not?
a, yes, a group of players recently created a video in honor of a fallen kinmate, and you could see their touching tribute on YouTube.
I saw a few minutes of that. It was really good.
And Laurel's Den brings you the home of the 5 o'clock tea, where Laurel and Darren recently held an open house on this deco concept, which you could see in the blog.
Also good.
And less than everything else has already been held. So let's go to the weekly comment. Who is the happiest person in Middle Earth?
Not Morkandir.
I will say Morkandir is most definitely not the happiest person in Middle Earth.
Actually, on a more serious note, I would have to say either Mary or Pippin.
Well, for
The
a choice
forum.
between those two, it would have to be Mary because it's in his name.
Yeah, but if you think about it, it's like, you know, who's the happiest person in Middle Earth? Out of all of the people, it has to be a hobbit. And what's the happiest hobbit that we know of? Certainly not Frodo. Um, happiest hobbit, happiest habit. Yeah, the happiest hobbit. That would have to be one of those. One of those two.
The forum's pretty. Oh, sorry, Pineleaf. Go ahead.
And I was going to ask you what your opinion was.
Oh, I couldn't think of one, and so I went to the forums to see if I could cheat, and the forums just said pretty unanimously Tom Bombadil.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
Tom.
Actually, Tom Bombadil with his old voice. I don't know. His old voice sounded very happy. Hey do, Mary do, and all that stuff. But his new voice with this baritone that he's singing in is
I haven't heard the new voice. Where do you hear it?
anywhere where you meet Tom Bombadil. I think they changed it
Oh, they
everywhere where you
updated
meet
it?
him.
Is this well? See, I think Gandalf had a new voice too, but they didn't change it everywhere. It just suddenly switches in the middle of the game, and you're like, "Wait a minute!" So I didn't know.
Well, yes, but in there they didn't change his style completely for Gandalf. Okay, you have a new voice actor doing it very well, but in this case, I talk about where the complete style of how he says and what he says and all that completely changes. When so in the retroactive play, now I think they did it because they were doing Woe of the Willow, and and I suppose that they decided that this new voice fit that instance better.
Ah,
But then they changed what he says everywhere in the game, at least everywhere in the game where I've met Tom Bombadil so far. And it does not sound as happy to me as the original version did.
that's true, but regardless what he sounds like, though, he is a pretty happy guy.
Yes, yes. I will say that the book version of him is very definitely the happiest person in Middle Earth. If I went by the voice of him now in the game, then let's see.
Oh,
Yeah.
Sanswinda with her hobby horses or Sanswinda with her Mumox. That's the happiest person in the
and the saddest person is since Window with spiders.
Yeah. Pretty sure it's anyone with spiders, because the spiders of Middle Earth are kind of, they don't engender much joy in people. That is not their purpose. It's like nobody walks into like Rimmerkant and is like, "Oh, woohoo! It's Sheila." They're no.
Yeah. Yes, Middle Earth spiders, or at least the giant spiders, are certainly not anything you want to run into in a dark alley.
I don't think anyone wants to run into them, period, in a statement, because that would. Could you imagine running physically into a spider, like bumping against their butt? It's just like, they'd be a little spiky if it was a tarantula, and it'd be like, irritating when you stuck. Anyway, let's not go there.
Yeah. Let's head into the fan site news where last week we got ourselves some foot coats.
Foot coats. We
I
had
need
an
to
entire
re-listen to
ad
this.
for foot coats.
I missed this one, and I'm very sad that I missed this one because I am very curious now about what in the world is going on.
Well,
You can listen to it. It was a Krister
I will.
thing.
Yes, it was a Krister thing, and the latest in footwear for hobbits.
Mm-hmm.
Ah, okay. I'll have to listen to it then.
Yes. LOTRO Stream is your first stop. To find LOTRO on Twitch is this week.
Wicked Eye Gaming 1.
Oh, yeah, yes. Thank you. Wicked Eye Gaming 1, Forte Maestro, returns to LOTRO Stream. Lil Redhead 42 has a heart, and French Girl Gaming goes on a mission.
I hope Little Redhead 42 has a heart. Otherwise, it's, there's a revenant playing the game. Is nobody going to... Does no one want to make a comment on this?
Also on Twitch, Mage Centron is the bravest hobbit. Mr. Deriv wins the game, and Thalaruth goes underway. How does one win the game?
I was going to say, how do you win the game?
I love how the person who wrote the beacon put those in the middle, so you almost miss it if you're not paying attention because it's the second one in a list. They sandwich it in between two kind of more normal sounding things. They're really going for the secret gotcha by putting it there in the middle, but it's definitely some stuff for us all to check out.
Yes. And over on YouTube, Gamer Penny delves into Narmalus origins. Holiday Mary has a performance for the Lonely Mountain Band's 13th anniversary, and Louis 7 streams a warden.
Bet that was a thrill a minute.
And for our screenshot of the week, Mumpo shared this very spring-like screenshot for us in this week's screenshot of the week. And you can send your screenshot by emailing it to lotro@standingstonegames.com. And this looks like it's over in Tuckborough at the Great Schmeals.
Yeah, I was going to say that, or it was right outside of Bilbo's house, but I think it's the Great Meals.
Yes.
Yeah. It's gorgeous regardless, but
Yeah, that's a
Yeah.
I
nice
wasn't
one.
sure where it was.
Yes, with those flowers that
Oh, the sunflowers?
yes, it's the sunflowers. I just remember was it the spring festival or the summer festival that
It's
has
the
the
spring festival because I
Mhm.
just did that instance, and so now I know what you guys are talking about when you refer to sunflowers. Oh, that poor elf.
that
Mm,
poor old
mm,
thing.
mm.
Oh, sunflowers, they're all extinct
And
now.
you know, if you really think about it, the only time the elves realized that these sunflowers like actually still exist somewhere, is when they're fixing to leave Middle Earth.
Yes. Yes.
So they don't have enough time or desire to tell anyone. And even that may be suspect because, after all, they didn't. That elf didn't know that they were there. He was going an entirely different way. They went the way that misses every single sunflower in the entire Shire.
Yes. I just remember that when I did a video of that one, probably the last year, when the elf is talking about seeing this portrait of a sunflower, is talking about this grand old painting done by an elf thousands of years ago, and I keep on interjecting every once in a while. The paint is fresh. The paint is fresh.
Sir, you are how old? And you do not know what fresh paint looks like versus old
Maybe he
paint?
needs to leave Middle Earth. Maybe it's his time to go.
You know what? I think it's his time. We need to throw the whole elf away and just start
Just start
again.
over.
Start over.
Yes. And and on the Let's Talk shop, they do have the official announcement that the curator returns. The curator will be available starting at 10 a.m. Eastern on April 19th. So that is and we'll be hanging around until May the 2nd.
Yes.
And that concludes our Lotro Beacon. So Calabathian, what's on sale this week?
Aha, I was ready for you this time because you asked me to do this earlier and I said yes. So yes. LOTRO bonus days, VIP event boost until April 11th. So yeah, that's like 100% XP, I believe. Yes.
Oh, maybe?
April 18th. No, no, talk about the VIP boost. Never mind.
Yeah.
Yes, you're right.
Yeah.
And I only know that because you guys mentioned it, I think, yesterday on the Academy that it was like 100% XP weekend or something like that.
Oh, does that mean I shouldn't have been playing my characters that have disablers on?
Oops.
I don't know, but it means I need to be out there playing some stuff for all that tasty, tasty XP because I'm tired of getting left behind by all you people with like 942 billion XP, boosts on your
Here, here.
characters because you've bought like every single everything known to man that the game can offer, and you did it like way early. So you're like, yeah, and I've got like 2 things. I'm sorry. Back to store sales. Also, mounts. Find your Shadowfax. Get 30% off select war steeds and mounts. Some riding skills. Not gonna say it. Select war steed cosmetics, movement speed buffs. All of that through April 15th. Those of you who got your stimmies, you know what to do. And the weekly coupon gets you a free battle potion of restoration ×5. Ooh. With the coupon code. It's a cold code. Battle on, all one word, BATTLEON, now through April 15th. And
I feel
that's
so stupid. I
everything.
read that as Bat Leon at first, and I was like,
Bat
what
Leon.
the heck is going on?
Bat Leon!
Sorry.
It's Batman's cousin. It's Bat Leon.
Yeah, there you go.
He is the
Yeah.
shadow that flaps through the night, I guess.
Yes, this week we have a pick of the week where we can refer to MMORPGs look at the brawler. This was a little look that the data miners found some information on the brawler, so they're going through this. And as they say in the article, and I'll remind you again, that you could take anything that's here with a huge heap of salt because this is an item that is, of course, greatly in flux. They haven't defined everything they had on the brawler, and until they come up with the public information, they're probably going to be changing everything about 5 times over. And even when they do start to have stuff on Bull Roar, even then things are likely to be tweaked. So yes,
Yes. The grain of salt size that you need with this information, you need to Google a salt lick. It's for cattle. I'm pretty sure that, you'll get the idea of the 1 grain of salt that you need to take this information with.
It is pretty exciting, though. I mean, I for one, am kind of excited to see how all of this shakes out and sees
yeah,
how the new
I
class kind
know.
of works out.
Yeah, some people were asking on a thread in the forums concerning the brawler. It says, "What is the lore justification for a brawler in Middle Earth?" And I'm just saying, wait a minute, is there any society in the world that doesn't have something of a brawler or anything like this? And of course, we're talking about Tolkien here. And he, of course, translated Beowulf. And if anyone could be the ultimate brawler, it's Beowulf.
That's true, and I mean, I guess it depends on how you classify what a brawler is. I mean, because you could loosely classify it as a fighter, and we definitely have those, but within the case of this particular class, it just seems like it's someone whose weapons are just their fists. So
Yeah.
I don't know. What kind of lore justification, I guess, are we looking for?
Well, I know well, they did give a couple of examples relating to brawling types and such as some things mentioned in the appendix where they
Ah,
felt that it was like, for example, when we had the whole instant with Rohan where the Dunlendings and all this stuff, where someone says this is no place for brawls, so they decide to take the fight outside.
ah,
So or there's no brawling inside this hall. So you got the so he does use the word brawl a couple of times in the appendices. Now, of course, someone responded that was a bit cherry picking in how to do things. Yes, but he says, isn't every archetype for every class a little bit of cherry picking? So we'll see
Well,
how.
yeah, but you can also make the argument that there's no brawling inside this hall. That could just be fighting. Anyone.
Yeah,
Anyone. It doesn't
well,
matter
yeah,
if you're a Bjorning or if you're a Guardian. It's like don't
true.
don't fight in the hall. There's no fighting in here. We're
Yeah,
actually civilized.
well, that's technically true, but the fact that he used a word in there, they're gonna. We'll see what they do and work on what type of their thing they're looking for the
This is
class into it.
Tolkien. He spends how many pages talking about a tree and how it looks, and yet he can't use the word brawl for fight without people saying it's an entirely new fighting class.
one thing I do want to say though, Luanori in the chat says that he hopes it's a drunken brawler class and you're most effective in combat if you've muddled your wits. I very much want to see this. Can you just see little drunken dwarven brawlers running around?
I'll go one
This just
better.
sounds
Can
amazing.
can you see little drunken hobbit brawlers running around?
Even better. This little tiny, ball of fury yelling, "Fight me."
Yarr!
Oh well.
Hobbit brawlers finding some way to punch and one of the giants or something and knocking it over. It's like, really? How did you have to did you need us? You needed more than a ladder to get up there.
Nope, I'll just destroy your kneecaps. It's all I can reach, but they're gonna be destroyed. It's fine.
No, a Hobbit brawler will climb on top of the enemy.
Oh, that's
Shimmy
true.
on
Kind of like
I mean, if you're gonna be a high-class brawler, you have to know how to climb, at least if you're a
that's
Hobbit.
true.
And remember the fight between the giant and Wesley in The Princess Bride?
Yes.
Yeah, where Wesley has climbed on top of the giant, and the giant is trying to get him off.
Yep. That'll be a little hobbit, and
That'd be
it'll
a
be
little
perfect.
Hobbit on top of someone
Well,
during a brawl.
well, little ball of fury yelling fight. Isn't that a Hobbit guardian? Has been asked by Gware in the chat.
Technically, yes, but this one's more angry and a lot more drunk.
Yes.
That's the only difference I can think of.
Okay, so it's a little ball of drunken fury yelling fight.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, so if you
That's what I'm going
sober
with.
as a guardian, either a guardian or a
And a
gardener.
shield. Then there you go.
Okay. Let's head into our week in gaming. And Arendis, what were you up to?
I've been up to a little bit. I ran around a few areas in Mordor on both of my level 120 characters, mostly just for fun and also to get a couple of what I believe are quest locked cosmetics. So that was fun. I got to see Mordor a little bit for the first time.
Well, by
Or,
the
well,
way,
sort
I
of
wanted
first time.
now that I've heard this, when I get Celeborn to level 120, and I think he's getting there, you want to run around Mordor with him because I've never
Sure.
been into Mordor.
I haven't really either, and Arendis is only level like 109 or so. So I could just take one of the 120s if you want.
Sure, because I'm gonna need. I guess if it's Mordor, well, I've been into like a little bit of Mordor, like where you basically have to do all the flower picking and everything,
Mhm.
but not where the shadow damage starts.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna need to find some gear before I head into there. But if you're looking for someone to run around Mordor with who is 120 or almost there, then I'm tossing Celeborn into the mix to say, here you go.
Sounds
I'll be up
fun.
there anyway for scrolls. I mean,
Yeah, we'll have to do that.
sure. Okay. Sorry. Go ahead.
No, no worries. Other than that, as far as LOTRO goes, I did a little bit of the Spring Festival, and I did the quest line that we were talking about earlier with the sunflowers and laughed the entire time, that poor elf. And I also got myself a little hedgehog, and those are far too adorable for what they should be, and they're just too stinking cute. So I got a hedgehog burrow for my Rohan house.
Morkendir has a hedgehog, a russet hedgehog. He calls him Goth Possum.
Oh my gosh, that's the best. That was pretty much it for LOTRO. Other than that, I played a little bit of Civ 6, and I also dusted off ESO and found out how to get to the start of the main quest line. So, because I had a couple of expansion packs, my new character started. I don't even remember where they started, and I got really confused about where I even was. So, thank you, Google, for telling me where to go and how to get started. So that was. Sorry, go ahead.
So you got kidnapped and your soul was stolen?
Pretty much. Pretty much.
How far did you get?
Um, honestly, not very far. Not very far yet, but I'm planning on picking it up and definitely continuing. So I'll keep you posted, Pineleaf.
You can totally join us in ESO now when we get to run.
There you go. I mean, I'm still very low level, so or well, they don't
So
have
are
levels in
we.
ESO. Do they have levels?
Yeah, I
They
mean,
sort of have
they have
levels.
levels, but like seriously, like my Khajiit is like not very far up there.
Yeah. Well, in any case, in ESO, they have auto scaling.
Oh,
So if you have
nice.
a group that's uneven levels, I don't know how they do it, but they manage to scale the content so that everybody can work together, even if they're uneven levels.
Ooh, I do not want to see that code. On that note,
Yes, it is. It's definitely code that is probably impossible in the LOTRO engine because
ooh, that's making my head hurt just to think about it. Calabathian, how was your week?
Oh, Lord. If that tells you anything. Mostly, I didn't get to do a lot because of RL time commitments and work foo. But I ain't going into that because we don't want to rant today. But I did more North Down stuff in the academy on Friday by killing ghosts and helping madmen. You know, crazy guys who, you know, they needed some help, and come to find out there's a reason why they're crazy. And as soon as you help them, they start kind of becoming not crazy. It's pretty nice of us to help this guy.
okay.
Also, this guy is has the name Colbert. And we were discussing if maybe he was named after Stephen Colbert, who is a known major Lord of the Rings fanatic, and like he's very, very knowledgeable.
Did they give him a character?
I don't know. But this guy's first name is Colbert, and it's, you know, it's not pronounced the same as Stephen Colbert, but Colbert whatever is in, you know, Lord of the Rings, and I'm like,
That would be hilarious.
So
Sorry.
anyway, I also scampered through the wildwood on Crack Boom. You know, Kerrakk, Boom, Crack Boom.
Nice.
Alongside Sands and Pine and Terry's group on Tuesday. Thank you for letting me join you. There was a white stag involved. It annoyed me because everybody has to like do it individually, even when you're in a group. So that stag ran like 4 different times for us in the group before we could really move on and do anything. And then and even then, it's like, okay, it leads you to this dude in a net. I would have just left him. By the time I got to him, I was ready to leave him. I was like, okay, I run over here and I didn't see anything. I run over here, I don't see anything. I run over here, I don't see anything. It's my turn. I follow the deer up the hill, and there's a guy in a net finally. And I'm like, I think you need to stay here. I was sick of his crap. Anyway, but yes, I couldn't finish the spring festival like I wanted to due to time commitments and real life. So boo. No more crystals, at least until the anniversary event, which, you know, here I come as of the 19th. I'll get some more crystals there. I need something like 33 for each of my weapons, first stagers. I think I got like 3 or 4 this time around. Anyway. And in other gaming news, I played Star Wars: The Old Republic with my sniper on there, who is actually based off of Morkendeer. He's got a much better voice, though. I can see Morkendeer with that voice. It's okay. But I did not see that murder streak coming for him. I should have, because I'm not playing the light side as a sniper, but you know, it's the evil Sith Empire. I probably should have foreseen that there would be like a murder spree at some point, but at least I can now be a hotshot smuggler type if I ever want to become a playboy and just travel the galaxy. So yeah, I totally stole someone's identity and killed them. It was necessary, but it was also fun. I'm sorry, is that the dark side talking? I'm going to hurry up and say, Pine, how about you? How was your week?
I was wondering, have you ever read a comic called Darth and Droids?
I have
Darths
not.
and Droids.
I haven't
Okay.
either.
The reason why I was asking that is because what they do is the idea is that they are a role-playing group, and that the role-playing session is the action for the role-playing session is based on the Star Wars films. So they have use clips from the still frames from the various Star Wars movies. Now they're at the 7th movie right now, but
Mhm.
they've gone through it and done it through all of them from sequence from the very beginning, continuing all the way through the 6th one. Now they're currently on the 7th one in there, and their role-playing group, as I saying it, and of course, they're changing the action based on the role-playing group. So they changed the dialogue completely from what's in the original. For example, one of the great lines from there was when someone says, "Jar Jar Binks, you're a genius,"
Oh, no. Oh,
which
that
is
just
not a
hurts.
line you would hear in the original Star Wars.
Yeah, that one hurts.
Yes.
That wounds me deep.
Yes. So you can see all anyway, the way they portray Han Solo in there is that he's constantly stealing identities, which is why I was thinking of Darth and Droids when you're talking about that. But anyway, you should, if you ever have time, you could go into there. Of course, the archives will take pretty long to get through all of them, considering that they have 6 movies worth of them going through in there, and I think each movie took a couple of years in order for them to get through it.
Wow.
So
Fun.
so a few years going back in it. But anyway, you can look up Darths and Droids in order to look that up if you are interested.
Not sponsored, by the way.
Hmm? They also did one for the Lord of the Rings before that.
Nice.
And in that one in there, the role-playing group though in the Lord of the Rings one didn't like the campaign all that much. And they liked the campaign in the Darth and Droids, so the attitude of the role-play groups and the two of them are very, very different from each other. All right, now for my week in Lotro. My honor warden completed the last of the non-repeatable quests in Minas Tirith. Yay, so that means I've done with Minas Tirith as far as I know. I have to decide whether I want to do some of the repeatables or if I want to do something else with the character, because the idea here is that my character should be getting ready to head out to look for the Riders of Rohan. So anything I do is probably going to be trying to prep for that. So if there looks like a daily that looks like I'm doing it just for a daily that has nothing to do with either slowing down the enemy or trying to get to the riders, then I'm probably going to skip those or anything like that. So I'm not going to be spending doing cistern dailies or anything like that. I have to decide what I want to do on that matter. And in ESO, my solo Templar reached level 20, and I decided when around the time I was hitting level 15 that I needed to clear out my quest log because my quest log was getting overfilled because I took all the prologues. Why I took all the prologue quests, I have no idea, but my quest log was filled with all these prologue quests and all. So I went around doing the quests in there. I went back to Stras Mackay. I did all of those quests in there. I've got through about a third of Glen Umbra. I've done some of the Mage Guild quest line. Now, I'm trying to figure out why my main quest is the main storyline is stalled. Something somehow is stalled in there, and I don't know why because I have absolutely no mainline quest currently in my quest log. I have not had the prophet come up and trying to ask me to come to the Harbridge or anything like that. So I have absolutely no idea what's going on and why I haven't been asked to get back in there. I thought I was going to be invited again, at least when I hit 15. Nothing came at 15. Nothing came at 20. And now I'm just trying to see maybe I could try to find the Harborage again because I completely forgot where it's at and see if I could find them and get in there and find out where's my next quest. And it doesn't help that the last one I had, I think, was the one to rescue Abner Tharm. And of course, I wound up running into him for the prologue for Elsewhere.
When in doubt, you're going to go bang on the door and say, "Yo!"
Yeah. Well, Abner Tharm is one. And when I did Elsewhere with Sanswinda, I had forgotten who Abner Tharm was because it had been years since I'd seen him when I was doing Cold Harbor with another character. I said, "Oh, you have got to be kidding." Because now okay, why am I questing with this guy now? But so you get the idea. It was really confusing. It was especially confusing when I was doing when I was trying to do the prologue for Greymore, and it was during the time, I believe, that Lyris Titanborn was imprisoned in the Cold Harbor prologue, in the Cold Harbor storyline, and I was like, "Wow, oh, you're back!" It's like, yes, the joys of mixing up timelines in ESO.
Oh, Guare says because Stuga keeps hassling you until you talk to her, Pine. Do you know how long she's been looking for you?
For Stuga?
Stuga.
Okay, I guess I'll have to see if I could run into Stuga and
Maybe it's Stuga. It's whoever. I haven't
oh,
gotten there.
all right, I will see if I could poke Stuga and find out what's going on in there. And if so, I'll have to remember to thank Warendis for it. If I'll thank Warendis in advance, just in case. Just in case I actually find her. And also in Civ 6, I started to build an archipelago kingdom with Indonesia. It was a perfect map, I think, for playing Indonesia because where I started out was right next to the sea, and there are all these other little islands nearby. It's like when Cinders created this map, she was saying, "Oh, let's make a perfect map for Indonesia." I'm pretty sure that Portugal is also likes the map. Oh, why would I want to go to Orsinium? Okay, yeah, I have no idea why I'd want to go to Orsinium in order to finish that, but we will.
Check out
I'll check
Orsinium.
that out later.
You need to check out Orsinium Hall. But sorry, it's very old. Arsenio Hall.
Yes,
Sorry.
that is too long ago. Our current top supporter is LOTRObuild.com. LOTRObuild.com includes a full collection of databases, including an items database, a relics database, and a titles database. Also, you can use it right from Discord or through LOTRObuild bot. We currently have 16 supporters on Patreon. If you'd like to join this illustrious rate of players and help support LOTRO players, you can go to the donations page. You can support the Players Alliance on Patreon. Your money would be used for podcast hosting, website hosting, and to pay for our live shows. We did not receive any emails this week, but if you'd like to send one, you can send it to podcast@loachplayers.com. You can also follow us at Twitter. Players Alliance at Players Alliance, Loach Players at Loach Players, Arendis at Arendis, Ponif at Ponif, Neil Senswin at Senswin, Terry Edwin at Terry Edwin, Guarendis at Guarendis, and Calabathian at Calabathian. The Players Alliance has two shows on Wednesdays at 7 p.m. U.S. Eastern Time. We have DDO Players News, and on Saturdays at 8:30 p.m. Eastern Time, we have Loach Players News. You can join us for our live shows at loachplayers.com/live. And that's all for.
You totally wouldn't be flubbing all of that if you would slow down and take a breath now and again.
Breathing is good. You
can join us for our live shows at loachplayers.com/live. And that's all for tonight then. This is Funny Needles reminding you to breathe responsibly.